The UFC has a massive star problem right now. Nobody's tuning into the UFC. Pay-per-view sales are down. We don't have any face of the UFC right now. Jon Jones is ducking. Conor McGregor's never fighting again. What is the UFC going to do moving forward? And that's what I'm here to do. I'm about to tell you exactly who I think could take that next level into superstardom and take over as, maybe the next Conor McGregor like you see in the thumbnail. Maybe another Khabib Nurmagomedov, Charles Oliveira, guys. We need some big stars, bro. The set of UFC champions that we have right now is crazy. It's the wildest set of champions I've ever seen. We've got guys like Dricus du Plessis, Belal Muhammad, Magomed Ankalaev. Some of these guys, you wouldn't think ever in 1,000 years would become a UFC champion. And then some of these guys are just boring. Now, I don't necessarily agree with all of these takes. I don't think all these guys are boring. I don't hate on all these fighters. I actually like some of these fighters, but I think there is a massive hole in the UFC. There's no real face of the UFC. We need somebody to step up to the plate. The UFC is in a major recession right now, and it looks like we're heading towards a depression, bro. So I'm here to fix that. I'm the best content creator on YouTube. Let's go. Starting off first, this one's going to be controversial because this guy is already a big star. Ilia Topuria, guys. He's a big star, like I said. They love him in Spain. He's got a whole country behind him. But Ilia Topuria has the chance to take a step up and become an actual superstar. I think the UFC's fumbling the bag with Ilia Topuria. He just vacated, moved up to lightweight. There's massive fights to make it lightweight. This man's already a big star. If he goes out there and knocks out Charles Oliveira, or imagine this man goes out there, knocks out Islam. This man's a global phenom. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that fight, but y'all know how I feel. Guys, Ilia versus Islam. There's no excuse that fight does not happen. This is the biggest fight we've had in a long time, and probably the highest showcase of skills between two fighters we've ever seen in UFC history. When their careers are said and done, Islam and Ilia will probably both be top 10 fighters of all time. Some people might even make the argument for both of them right now. I do think Islam is for sure there. Ilia, it's hard to tell right now. But like I'm saying, imagine if Ilia fights Islam, which Islam's the biggest star the UFC has right now. Imagine he goes out there and knocks him out. I didn't want to go into detail about this, bro, but there's no reason this fight should not happen. Dana White's worried about pay-per-view sales. Their deal with ESPN is not looking too hot because we're not selling pay-per-views because we got Magomed Ankalaev as champion. We got Belal Muhammad as champion in 2025. You're not bringing in any casual UFC fans. The sport's not even growing right now. No casual fans tuning in because Conor McGregor's not fighting. He's probably never fighting again. Jon Jones is ducking. I mean, that's the only big draw we have left, really. I mean, we can go down the list. Pantoja's not bringing in any new fans. Merab's trying his best. He really is. He's good on the mic. He's trying to be funny. He's just not doing it. Ilia Topuria just vacated. He's a pretty big star right now. Islam's the biggest star. Well, we got 170. Belal Muhammad. Don't even get me started on Belal Muhammad. Look, I actually like Belal Muhammad, but he's not bringing in any new fans. 185, we've got Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis is doing his part. This man's got the best trash talk in the game right now. He's got a goofy goober style. Nobody's tuning in. Nobody sees some Dricus du Plessis highlights and is like, bro, I gotta watch this dude fight. But he's trying his best. I'll give him that. Light heavyweight, we got Magomed Ankalaev. He's not bringing in any new fans either. They're all from the same region. All those Dagestan, Russian guys, they already watch the sport most likely. So surely they're going to do a Poatan rematch. So if Alex Pereira wins that, that's better for the UFC in my opinion. Just because Alex Pereira is a big star. He was possibly the biggest star in the UFC at the time. But then again, he's still not, McGregor level, which I get it. Nobody's ever going to reach McGregor level. But we need something, man. And then to heavyweight, don't get me started about heavyweight either. Tom Aspinall has potential, but he has to go through Jon Jones. He has to fight and beat Jon Jones, in my opinion, to really reach that star power that he wants. And then, we got the whole situation with Jon ducking, not fighting Aspinall. I don't know what's going on with them guys. But you get my point. Enough rambling on with that. Ilia Topuria should fight Islam. That's basically just sums up this. Ilia Topuria is already a star. I just really think he could take another step up. He's already knocked out Max Holloway. He's already knocked out Volkanovski. Everybody knows who Ilia Topuria is, but if this man or KO Islam, everybody, even the people that don't watch UFC, will know Ilia Topuria. All right, enough rambling about Ilia and the potential Islam fight. Let's move on to Diego Lopes. I think Diego Lopes is the next Charles Oliveira. Diego Lopes will be fighting for the title in 2 weeks, I believe, against Alexander Volkanovski. Look, I'm rocking with Alexander Volkanovski. I'm going to make a whole separate video breaking down that fight. But Diego Lopes, I don't think he can reach it yet, even with the win over Volk. It would be a great start. I don't think he can reach that superstardom yet. but he has the potential. Tell me this man does not remind you of Diego Lopes. He doesn't say much on the mic. He's a humble guy. He's always smiling. He's Brazilian, obviously. He's obviously got the great jiu-jitsu. He's great on the mat. And he's also got sneaky power in his hands. Well, his power isn't as sneaky as Charles, but you get my point, man. This is Charles Oliveira 2.0. He's got the inspiring tattoo across his chest. Dream, believe, and make it happen. There's no telling if he even knows what that meant. He might have just went there, got a flash tattoo. Somebody told him it was inspiring, going to inspire the young fans. He probably just went with it. But still, Diego Lopes, he might not be a superstar, but he definitely could be one of the bigger stars in the UFC, like a Charles Oliveira. He's going to be one of those fighters, if he develops and fills out his potential, he's going to be one of the fighters that every fan loves, everybody wants to see succeed, and a potential champion in the future. The country of Russia is taking over the sport, guys. The UFC doesn't feel the same without a Brazilian champion. Diego Lopes could be that next Brazilian champion. But he's going to have to wait because Volkanovski's going to become a two-time champion. Let's move on to the next Brazilian, one of the fighting nerds. I think the fighting nerd that has the most potential of superstardom is Mauricio Ruffy. This man had one of the sickest knockouts I've ever seen. I got to see it in person. I know. I went to UFC 313. I made a whole vlog video about that. Go check that out if you haven't already. But Mauricio Ruffy, he's got the style. He doesn't necessarily have the mic skills. Maybe he can develop them. This man definitely has a style of a prime Conor McGregor. And he's already off to a great start. He'll probably get a ranked fighter in his next fight. Maybe a Beneil Dariush or something. But this man just added a spinning heel kick to his highlight reel. On top of that, he's already got a no-look left hook. He's got some crazy highlights already. He's already had, 3 fights in the UFC? I believe, something like that. Now, the whole fighting nerds are taking over right now. Gene Silva's got a fight coming up with Bryce Mitchell. If I were to rank the fighting nerds in order of superstardom, I would put Ruffy at the 1, Gene Silva at the 2. I'd probably go Carlos Prates at the 3. And then Caio would definitely be the 4. Not based on skill, just based off how popular I think they could reach at their peak if they, all hit their potential. Gene Silva's trying his best, though. This man is really trying his best. He's barking at the press conferences. He's talking trash, He wants to knock out Bryce Mitchell. If he does that, that's a step in the right direction for him. But Mauricio Ruffy's style is beautiful to watch. Like I said, he looks like a prime Conor McGregor. This man's, he's going to light somebody up on the feet. Probably going to be Beneil Dariush. And if he can really develop his ground game, we could be seeing this man fighting for a title in the near future. The only problem with that is he's in the lightweight division, and the lightweight division is full of killers, bro. But on the other hand, thinking on it, we got some old heads in there. We got some unks. Dustin Poirier's about to retire. Gaethje's not too far from retirement. So is Charles. Max Holloway probably is not too far off either. And then even Michael Chandler's like 38 years old. He's pushing 40. He's something like that. But I could so see Michael Chandler, sticking around too long, maybe losing a fight to an up-and-comer when he's like 45, still calling for that Conor McGregor fight. Michael Chandler, bro, give it up. Give it up, buddy. If you want that, you got to go to bare knuckle. Conor McGregor's not fighting in the UFC ever again. But Mauricio Ruffy is also a big potential star from Brazil. He's got the style. Maybe he can develop the mic skills. The fighting nerds kind of speak for themselves. They don't do a whole lot of talking. But I think he definitely has the most potential of stardom out of the fighting nerds. Let's move on. Ian Garry, dude. Ian Garry. Listen, y'all got to hear me out. Ian Garry, he's already ranked. He's ranked number 7. He's already kind of a big star. A lot of people know Ian Garry. I think he could take even another step up. Ian Garry was on the come up, a potential superstar. He just fought Shavkat Rakhmonov. Did phenomenal in my opinion. Gave Shavkat a very tough fight. People are starting to forget about the Ian Garry, situation with his girl. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Ian Garry, people are coming around starting to like Ian Garry again. I think Ian Garry also has the style to become a superstar. He's from Ireland. People are going to associate him with Conor McGregor, think maybe he's the next Conor McGregor. Look, I know I keep saying the next Conor McGregor. Everybody's going to, aspire to fill those shoes. Nobody's really going to be able to do it, but, we can always hope. One man can hope. If Ian Garry continues to win at 170, and Islam Makhachev moves up to 170, maybe becomes double champion. Guys, we could have a potential big fight on our hands. We could get Habib versus Conor from Wish. Ian Garry versus Islam. I mean, it could be interesting. I think Islam takes it. It could be interesting, though. It could be a fun build-up for sure. Russia versus Ireland, history repeating itself. It could be fun. It could be fun. But Ian Garry's got to get back to his ways. He's got to start talking trash on the mic, calling out his next fights. I wanted to see this man fight Colby Covington. I think that would have been a great step in the right direction for Ian Garry, I think he would be Colby Covington. But now there's I've heard some rumors about Colby Covington and Kevin Holland. Don't know how true that is. It's a fight I never really would have expected, but I love it. I absolutely love that fight. Colby Covington's on his way out. He really is. Kevin Holland's trying to put another win streak together. We need to see that vintage 2020 Kevin Holland again. I think the trash talk would be hilarious. That'd be a great fight to open up a card. Maybe even like a co-main. Is that crazy to say a co-main? I think that Dana White just has this idea in his head that Colby Covington is one of the biggest stars in the UFC. Maybe he had the potential. He definitely had the potential. He just sucks. He sucks, bro. But I do think Ian Machado Garry could potentially be a big star one day, especially if he fights for the title. Let's move on. I think we have one more. We've got Usman Nurmagomedov. I know he's not even in the UFC, guys. He's the PFL Bellator champion, whatever it even is now. I don't watch that stuff, to be honest. But, not hating on it. But this man, it's only a matter of time before he crosses over to the UFC. I believe he's a lightweight fighter. So by that time, if he does join the UFC, I'm sure Islam will be at 170, maybe even retired. Usman Nurmagomedov at 155 could be exciting. Maybe we don't get Ilia versus Islam. Maybe we get the next best thing, which will be Usman Nurmagomedov versus Ilia. Don't necessarily think it's the same, but it's still, we could get Dagestan versus Georgia. Maybe we should just have a whole pay-per-view of Dagestan versus Georgia. We could have Ilia versus Islam, as the headliner, obviously. Co-main, Merab versus Umar, 2. And then what about Usman versus Arman Sarukian? Tell me that ain't tough. Tell me that ain't some tough matchups. I'm the best matchmaker on TikTok, baby. Yeah! Yeah! Y'all put in a good word for me, man. I'm out here putting out all these fights. I'm the best matchmaker out here. Dana needs somebody to hire. They've been lackluster recently. They've been very lackluster. These fights have been undeserved title shots, boring fights. Hey, this is my application, Dana White. I know you're watching this. He tunes into me all the time. So does Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, if you're watching this, I know Dana's busy. Put in a good word for your boy. But Usman Nurmagomedov, he's not just a smudge grappler like people might think. Just hearing the name Nurmagomedov, not even true. False narrative. This man's a phenomenal striker, phenomenal wrestler, and he's a finisher. He's undefeated, guys. Bring this man over to the UFC. Let's let him run the lightweight division. I guess the lightweight division is just going to be Nurmagomedov's, Makhachev's, maybe Dagestan's just going to run the lightweight division forever. But even just having the last name that this man carries, he's got potential to be a big star. I think he's Umar's younger brother. Umar also could be a big star, guys. Anybody from that area related to Habib, you're going to be a big star. But that's going to be it for me. Y'all let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with, which fighter you think could be the next Conor McGregor or the next biggest star, face of the sport. But y'all leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments what type of videos you want to see. Let me know if you like this type of content and hit that subscribe button. But we out, man.